Welcome everybody. Thanks everybody for coming back, and all of you are ready to jump into episode 7 of our Baldur's Gate 3 Ranger gameplay here. As far as announcements go, nothing very special. Still on patch 8 where we were. We finished up the last episode sitting at the Grove, cleaning out our inventory, and that's what we've done. So we're gonna pick back up in the Hollow, and we're gonna explore a couple of underground places in the Blighted Village. There are two main areas there. There's the Whispering Depths, which is the larger underground dungeon exploration area, and we need to pick up a couple of items down there, and one of them will be used when we go to explore the other smaller underground areas, specifically in the Necromancer's lab that we learned about last episode via the Apothecary's logbook or notebook, which talked about some roots underground locked away for safekeeping. So we're going to go explore some of these areas down here and get that knocked out. If we do finish up with that, then we will probably make our way over toward the Toll House and the Risen Road and start exploring that area of the map. But I don't know if we'll make it there. The Whispering Depths is a pretty big area, and then you combine it with the two underground dungeon areas, and it's going to be probably a full stream today, but we'll see. Never know. So let's go ahead and jump back in here where we were in the Hollow. Okay, here we are, right where we left off, at Aaron the Trader, and we'll just go through and check our inventory here, and you can see kind of where we are. We do have a couple of things left over. Looks like this garnet ring we'll want to sell, and then we do want to go ahead and just get rid of these weapons. We were carrying them for a specific purpose. We'll actually keep the short bow, but we'll get rid of the others. I think that's about it. Yeah, so let's go to Aaron here. Have Gale talk to him.
Let's chat.
Need anything else?
We'll just get those things sold off real quick here.
You're not the only one in need.
Oh. Yeah, that's why we didn't sell them off. Because we ran Aaron completely out of gold. There's nothing else in here that we want to buy from Aaron. There is a leather +1, which maybe we want to buy for Will. No, I think we're actually going to do that. No, it's still going to be there. We'll come back in and look at Will's inventory when we have to come back and sell again. Okay, so as you can see, fairly empty for all the things that we needed to sell off. So let's go ahead and head back, and while we're here, let's look at our characters here. So Gale doesn't have any second level spells. Shadow Heart's down to 1 and 1, and the Ranger's down to 1. So once we get out here, we'll don't have any short rests either, and Lozelle needs some hit points. So once we get out here to the Blighted Village, we'll probably do a long rest just to get everybody sorted back out and ready to head into the Whispering Depths, because we are going to need our full complement head in there. There's some...
You seemed quite forward with your compliments earlier. We'd only just met.
Seize the day, I say. More now than ever.
Careful you
Gale.
don't pull a muscle in your haste.
The notorious flirt. As I was saying, we're going to need that full complement of spells, because there is a rather high-powered enemy inside of the Whispering Depths that we're going to have to deal with. So let's go ahead and knock out our rest.
The twilight is darker than expected. Moisture drips down your forehead. Pain shoots through your fingers. The world swims as you close, then reopen your eyes. How long have you been waiting here? A moment? A night? A 10-day?
Chukil King Vlakith Mazathok. Can you feel it crawling through you? Tendrils squirming in your chest, gripping your heart, piercing your belly. Your bones popping, your flesh swelling. I can. I see it in you. I feel it in me. We are lost. I will be quick with my blade. First you, then the others. Then, myself.
Your minds intertwine. You sense a touch of uncertainty, a touch of disgust.
This whole encounter is something that they got around to adding. I hadn't seen it before in patch 6, and I hadn't played very much through patch 7, so comment down below if you'd seen this before in the previous patches, but this is something new that I've seen, so I wanted to let everybody get a chance to explore it here. Don't feel so well, and Lazelle notices that, so this is going to kind of start it out. So we have some checks here. So we've got a persuasion, a medicine. It's got a +3 from wisdom. These are -1s from charismas. So just going to go ahead and make a roll here. Yeah, let's go ahead and make a roll here. So we've got advantage. It's only a 10. We'll apply guidance to it. Perfect.
I cannot trust my own mind. So it seems I must trust yours. I will wait. But know this. I am watching. If the sickness does not pass come dawn, I will end us all.
Okay, and now you can look through the campsite and you can see that we have some sickly individuals, a worn out individual, and then Lazelle, as calm as all get out. So let's do a round of conversations here.
Chatter already, Tusky.
So nothing new here.
A shiver racks your body. It takes a moment for Wyll to come into focus.
You've got wits of white steel. Can't say I'm not impressed. All we can do now is see what the morrow brings.
Your head swims with the slightest motion, and your legs feel heavy as iron.
I reckon come dawn, we'll be right as rainbows.
So, we're starting to feel some more effects, and Will's not happy either.
Leave me alone. I do not have time to waste with you.
Astarion obviously is not liking it very much.
Oh, what a night. What a god's damn. Blood. That's a pretty sight. So give it to me straight. How do I look?
And we might as well humor his vanity.
Thanks. That's what I thought. You don't look so hot either, I might add. And neither do the others. So either the fish we had was bad, or it might just be happening.
Well, I don't remember having any fish.
Right. I'm going to bed. Sleep if I can. Find some peace if that's possible. Meanwhile, I'll just pretend I had the fish.
Probably a good idea when confronted with mortality. The last is Shadow Hurry.
It feels like we packed 3 days into one today. I'm exhausted. Could be the Tadpole's doing. Or not. We'll just have to wait and see. Let's just get some rest.
So everybody's in some pretty bad shape here. So nothing else that we need to do in camp here. So let's just pick out our supplies. Now we do have one supply in our inventory, but that's also a health regenerating supply that we're going to keep, and we'll use it in place of a healing potion. So let's just pick out 40 supplies. So that's 21, 26, plus 12 is 38, 39, 4.
Need to find a way forward.
Now we'll just head to our rest. So if you auto-select this, it's not going to select the other one that we have in our inventory. It normally selects everything but that. But full 40, so let's go.
Chosen, let me come to you. I can help you. I've been searching for you. You're always so far away. But I'm already here. You frown in your sleep. There must be so much on your mind.
Her fingers are warm against your cheek, softer than expected.
You think that you're sick, that you're dying. Are you afraid?
Okay, now this is something else. I noticed, or I commented during character creation, when it asked you, who do you see in your dreams, that I hadn't seen an implementation of that in the previous playthrough. So, this is interesting. I haven't seen this before either. I hadn't seen an implementation or a use for picking that option in the game. Well, now I have. So I don't know when this was added, but again, I don't ever remember seeing it in patch 6. Maybe it was in patch 7 and I just hadn't played through enough to see it. But I don't remember seeing this before. So it's interesting to see these new things pop up as we go through it. So we recognize this voice, and this is obviously out of the ordinary. Somebody saying that we think that we're sick. We actually are sick. So not entirely sure I trust what's going on here. So I think I'm gonna maybe inquire about some of this stuff. Well, actually I am just gonna take the elf option here. But maybe inquire a little bit beforehand as opposed to, you know, just diving right
How far
in.
does the deepest trance lay from sleep? I leave that answer to your clever mind, darling. You know. I think in your heart you know. We wouldn't be here like this if it weren't destiny. Come now. I'll make you feel better. Let yourself go. Lean back.
So yeah, this is obviously out of the ordinary. So...
Why are you fighting me? I'm here to help you.
The urge for violence lingers. You could push her again. You could cause so much pain.
Well, if you want to wait, I'll wait. But I do have a parting gift.
Hey. So there are some glitches, it looks like, inside that cutscene. There's an option to pop up a tutorial about a new Illithid power that you've gained, and now it seems fairly obvious that that was a manifestation from the Tadpole in our head. So we probably don't want to be giving into what's happening there. Or again, if it's your playthrough, if you want to completely give into it, you certainly can. So it's up to you. So not going to tell you how to play your playthrough, but I'm not going to give into it. So a couple of things here. We do have some conversations with Gale that we want to get. We are still back in camp during the day. So even though we have rested and gained everything back, we're still in our camp. We are not back at the Blighted Village where we left. So let's kind of do some exploration here real quick, and then we'll kind of get out of the camp and head back to where we were. So the first you see is Scratch is here. So we can't talk with Scratch right now. So let's go ahead and well, you know, for the sake of it, I don't mind getting rid of a level 1 spell slot to
Amicus animalis.
just for the dialogue here.
Hope you're keeping well, friend.
Master, friend. I stayed with him until I knew he was gone. I'll never forget him. But I'm glad to have met you. Oh, thank you. That's nice.
Okay, now we have a new Illithid power, and we're going to learn more about this as we go here. So, but again, you can see some glitches here in this interaction, in this cutscene. Okay, so let's talk to Gale here.
Good morning. And it truly is, isn't it? A very, very good morning. Do you feel as chipper as I do? The night brings counsel, or so the saying goes. But last night had quite a bit more in store, wouldn't you agree? How's that for feeling better? Hardly. There's a glow about you. No doubt about me, too. We feel startlingly well. And yet there's a certain look in your eyes. The far-off distance of a haunting. Which begs yet another question. Did you too have such puzzling dreams? Same here. Perhaps. The jury's still out. What I saw surpassed the vivid. The voice was too true, the touch too tantalizing. I can tell you felt the same. Sought out in the night by... what? An illusion? Or a promise? All too apt an analogy. Let's agree that at the very least, there was the lure of a promise. The touch, the kiss, the everything. Did you relent or resist? Then you're stronger than me. It was an expert, this apparition. First the seduction, then the spurning, then that teasing souvenir. You're not ready. I will return when you are. That's what I was promised. We have some restless nights ahead of us.
So Gale gave in there, it looks like. Do what Shadowheart did.
Something tells me I know what you two were talking about. Both feeling better than you did last night, yes? Not even just that. I awoke with new... I don't know... powers. It was the same for you, wasn't it? The good health. The power. The dreams. It's all right. You can trust me. Tell me what you saw. What you felt. No. Someone else chose for you. Or something else. What was your visitor like? Whoever came to you? Different from mine in some ways, but the same in all the senses that matter. I dreamt of someone I'm very attracted to. There was a promise of power. I had exactly the same dream when aboard the Mind Flayer ship. Don't you think that's suspicious? I'm glad we're of the same mind. If this happens again, let me know. We can't take anything for granted, especially when it's to do with what's going on up here.
That all makes perfect sense.
My blood is cleansed, my muscles still. I have been shown new might to tug foe and fiend into reach. Damn it all!
Typical Lizelle.
Having fun telling everyone about your naughty little dreams, are you? I had the same dream, of course. Very... enticing.
Well, look at you. Fit as a fox and twice as eager. I feel it too. Not just renewed, but improved. New talents aching for release.
So we've obviously had some issues, so to speak, during the night. Tell you what I am gonna do really quickly. Gonna move this quest item back into my inventory if I don't do so. What we'll do...
How can I help? I question the wisdom of that decision, but so be it. I'll be here in the meantime.
is we're going to temporarily put Wyll into the group here.
Salutations. Ah, that's this.
Just so we can take care of some housekeeping stuff. First, we're going to make sure that he has a ranged weapon, and then we're going to level him up. Since he hasn't been traveling with us, all of his level ups are still here. And this will give you kind of an opportunity to go through the Warlock build here. See kind of what's involved in it. The main thing about Warlocks is that they have a cantrip, Eldritch Blast, that they can use over and over and over again. And you can power that up in various different ways as you level up through your class. And part of that is with these invocations here. So it's selected 2. We can pick 2 here out of this list, and it's selected Agonizing Blast. The Charisma modifier is the Warlock's main or primary stat to deal with. So right now we're sitting at 16, that's a +3, so Agonizing Blast just adds a straight +3 to the Eldritch Blast damage. So it's always a good thing. Straight up damage dealing is always good for my spellcasters that I choose to play. Armor of Shadows is basically an improvement for armor class without using a spell to do it. So if you're using your Warlock as a fighter magic user combination, then that can be very good. Beast Speech allows him to do what I did with that spell, just he doesn't need a spell slot to do it. He can do it at any time. Beguiling Influence is something that you can use before conversations to gain proficiency in deception and persuasion checks throughout that conversation. So it's, not unuseful, it's just limited in its use. Devil's Sight is going to be able to give him dark vision. I don't normally think that that's an idea that really needs to be explored for most of my other characters who don't get it naturally, but it is a benefit. Fiendish Vigor is basically free hit points anytime you want. So again, for that fighter up front type of person, Fiendish Vigor is great. It gives you false life, so it gets you 5 temporary hit points without using a spell slot to do it. Mask of Many Faces is Disguise Self. I don't normally use that spell inside the playthrough. Repelling Blast is very interesting. It powers up Eldritch Blast again so that when you hit with it, it pushes the creature up to 4.5 meters away from you. That can be very useful in, say, knocking enemies off of high places and causing them fall damage, or knocking them into fire surfaces or acid surfaces or something like that, or just backing them up so that you get them into a position where they can be hit by other AoE spells or things like that. So it's a very interesting toggle up for it. There are a few instances, however, where it can cause a problem. The first being that in the beta anyway, or in the early access, it can sometimes glitch things out. The collisions between the enemy models and walls and rocks and the surroundings can get a little bit glitched out sometimes when they hit it. So if you're just using it to push something back or into a clear open area already, then you're probably not going to have any issues with it. But you can get some glitches with this pushing enemies through walls and things like that sometimes, which can cause an encounter just to never end if you can't reach that area afterward. The other thing about it is that there are a few areas in the playthrough that you can't reach. Either there's a bottomless pit, or an area that you can't get down to near the ocean or near a river or something like that. So if you use it and you knock an enemy into that, you might not be able to loot it. So it's really, a pretty cool addition to Eldritch Blast, but it also might make it that in some scenarios you can't use Eldritch Blast because it's going to knock that enemy into a location where you can't loot it afterward or something like that. So you might have to go with some other option instead of being able to use Eldritch Blast, which is what your warlocks mainly count on. So it's a good thing, but in the beta it's a little bit hard to deal with. In tabletop it's great. because you don't have to worry about computer programs glitching through walls. But here in the beta, it's a little bit harder to man in a lot of situations. So Thief of the Five Fates is basically they can you can cast Bane using a spell slot. That's great and all, but I have other people that can cast Bane, so I don't need him to be able to do it, and it'd be using one of the spell slots, so that's not really great either. So in this case, I use the Warlock more as a fighter mage or a fighter magic user, so I'm going to leave Agonizing Blast, but I'm going to take Fiendish Vigor for this. Like I say, Repelling Blast is great. If there just weren't a lot of instances where it was going to flip me out or cause a problem, I'd probably take it. Maybe in future playthroughs as things improve through early access, I'll use it more, but just not right now. So for the spells to choose, oh, sorry, you're going to get False Life. So Fiendish Vigor and False Life, that's interesting. I don't know if they stack or not. It's interesting. I'll have to look at that. But as for new spells, this is the list. It's all stuff that we've seen before with the exception of two, Hellish Rebuke and Hex. Hellish Rebuke is a reaction-based spell. You cast it on yourself, and then the next time you take damage, whoever attacked you is hit with 2d10 fire damage. If they make a successful dexterity save, then they, take half damage on it. But it's a reaction spell. It's not an offensive cast it like firebolt spell. Hex is very similar to Hunter's Mark in that you cast it on a creature and it curses them, and then whenever you hit it with an attack, it takes an additional 1d6 damage. And then if they die before the spell runs out, you can just use your bonus action to cast it on somebody else. So it's actually very, very useful. It picks that as the default, and I'm gonna leave it. The other thing about Hex is that, as it says, the creature also has disadvantage on ability checks, and you can pick an ability to use. So if you're casting spells with will that are charisma based, then you can give them disadvantage on their charisma checks, and then they can have a better chance of taking full damage spells that you cast. So for a replacement spell, we have two of them already. Neither one of these I use very much. If between the two of them, I would keep Armor of Agathis. It's basically you cast it out of combat, and it lasts until you long rest again. Anybody who hits you gets 5 cold damage, and you gain 5 temporary hit points. So it's the more useful of the two in my mind. But we're going to get rid of Arms of Hadar here, and we're going to put in Witch Bolt here in its place. None of these other level 1 spells I want to keep, but we'll go ahead and swap this out and accept that level. Now we can level him up again. Okay, so hit point goes up. He now has a Pact Boon, in that his patron has given him a gift, and that gift is that he can summon familiars, and he can summon either an imp or a quasit. Imp is flying based, kind of like the raven is. Quasit is ground based, but the quasit can frighten, the imp can poison. So two very powerful abilities. These familiars are much better than the familiars that the ranger ranger has access to. But yeah, they're both quite useful. And then for a new spell here, Misty Step, is just great. But let's look at the other spells here. We've talked about all of these throughout, except for, I think, Shatter. Shatter is basically a direct damage, thunder damage spell. And the unique thing about it is if it's not an organic material, if you're dealing with, you know, a stone giant or a golem or something like that that's made out of clay or stone, then they have disadvantage on the saving throw. But it is a Constitution saving throw, and a lot of things have high Constitution in the game. Cloud of Daggers for an area denial is still extremely powerful, so I'm going to keep that as the second level spell that I'm going to choose here. And then looking through these, there's nothing that I think I want to swap out here. Scorching Ray is nice. And I may actually swap out the Armor of Amethyst for that. In that case, he would be more of a mage ranged damage dealer as opposed to a mage magic or a fighter mage. Now, I think I'm going to keep this. I think I'm going to keep the armor. Get this, assuming that we do use him at some point. And then we have the last level up for Wyll. So now we get cantrips. The cantrips, again, if you're using them for a fighter mage, some of these are a little bit more useful than others. So Blade Ward is very, very useful if you're using him as a fighter mage. It basically, anytime you get hit by bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, the damage is half. Just straight across the board, no need for a saving throw or anything, it's just half. So very, very useful because he's got 31 hit points, so it's not the highest number of hit points that you can have. So Blade Ward is very, very nice. True Strike is kind of the offensive version of that. It allows you to get advantage on all attack rolls against whatever you cast it on. The other things here can be more offensive in the way of Poison Spray and Chill Touch. Mage Hand, obviously, it's like a familiar that you can move it around and have it pick up and interact with things. And friends we've seen before. So Blade Ward is just very, very useful. So I'm gonna keep that as his cantrip. And again, nothing that I need to replace here in that list. So now we get down to the feats, and you can see where we are. Charisma is 16, Con is 15. Charisma is +3 right now. If we add 1 onto that, it stays +3. We'd have to put both points into it. If we add 1 into Constitution, that takes him up to 16, which gives him a +3 there. So we'd have to see what his... so he would gain an additional 4 hit points onto what he has now. But I think we're gonna leave that up on Charisma and take him up to 18. That the +4 from +3 is just way too evil to pass up. Okay, so we're done in here. So now we'll take Wyll and we'll move him out of the party.
I'm one of a kind, and just when...
And we'll do the same thing for Astarion.
Well, hello. What can I do for... Lead on.
Okay. So going from 2 to 3, you have a choice here. You can either gain some magic abilities to give Astarion ways to do some magic damage as well as conceal himself as he moves around in combat, or you can just go the straight thief route. That's what these two differences are. A thief gives you fast hands, which you get an additional bonus action, which can be very, very useful. And second story work means that you you lessen your fall damage. Something that is somewhat situational in the current playthrough. In tabletop, it's very, very useful. But in this case, I'm going to focus on Arcane Trickster, and because of that, you get Legendary, which means he can cast Mage Hand. So if you've, as a cantrip, so if you've got him in your party, he can cast the Mage Hand instead of your magic users doing it, to interact with switches that are in locations you can't reach, and all of that sort of stuff. Mage Hand is situationally useful, but in those situations, it is very, very useful when you have it. So, as for a couple of other cantrips here, you can pick what cantrips out of this list. So let's just kind of remove them both. Acid Splash, we saw. Blade Ward, we dealt with. Dancing Lights is what we talked about earlier for lighting up specific locations is what it does. It can be very good for a thief to be in hiding and to cast dancing lights in an area to illuminate a target or targets for people not in hiding to be able to hit easier. So it is kind of more useful for a rogue to be able to do it. As for and light is basically doing the exact same thing for one particular target, which in my experience tends to be a little bit more useful. Dancing Lights does have a 12-meter radius, but I tend to find that enemies move around enough that you might not get them in a location that you want and then have them stay there. And the other thing about it is that it illuminates you as well. So unless you can cast it in an area where you're not illuminated, if you get lit up as well as the enemy, then they can hit you easier. So I tend to focus on light more than dancing lights when dealing with it. The rest of these, and True Strike, so when you're dealing with a thief, they're really sneak attack based, and True Strike is very, very useful for helping that out. Blade Ward is also, just like you deal with, we're talking about it with the Warlock, don't have a lot of hit points, so you want to make sure that you're protecting those as much as possible. So upping your ability to get sneak attack damage and upping your protection against those various types of damages is always very, very useful. So for spells, we have a couple of first level spells to pick here, and these are very interesting. Disguise Self, again, it isn't very useful in my mind in the early access so far, but some of these others are going to be very useful. Sleep is just amazing for a rogue to be able to use. The saving throw for Tasha's Hideous Laughter is wisdom based, which we've got a 13, which is +1, but it's not anything very special. Some of these others are, kind of similar to it, but Color Spray blinds characters in a 5-meter radius for 1 turn, and it just blinds them. Not a saving throw for it. So again, I tend to see it's more useful for a thief to use or for a rogue to use, but that's again your call. And then for the available spells, it shows Fog Cloud. Looking through these, again, you're trying not to necessarily cause damage as much as you are doing crowd control and getting yourself into position and distance. So Expeditious Retreat, you gain dash as a bonus action. So if you had Expeditious Retreat cast on you and you were using the thief segment, you had 2 bonus actions, you can move all over the place. That's just, you can just move all over the entire battlefield. But this is where Long Strider and Jump come in more to be in use if you're hidden and you're trying to get to new areas, or you're getting around behind enemies. These two can be much more useful. In my mind, looking through most of these, I think Grease or Fog Cloud are the two most useful out of these. More area denial type things and stuff like that, as opposed to the rest of them, which are going to have saving throws associated with them for the most part. You can cast Magic Missile, which is guaranteed damage. But again, I think it's more area denial or AoE type of stuff here. So I tend to stay with Grease for that spell. One more time. So goes up to 31 hit points. You gain another level 1 spell. I don't like Charm Person as much as I do Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Charm Person, I'm actually rethinking that a little bit. Okay, so I had this backward. Yeah, Charm Person just lasts for 10 turns if they fail their saving throw. Okay, so they have advantage against the saving throw. That's what it is. So it's harder to hit, but once it hits and lands, it stays with them for a long time. Tasha's Hideous Laughter is easier to hit, but every turn they have a chance to redo their saving throw and avoid it. So since I don't have a high wisdom, it's 601, half dozen the other here. I think Tasha's Hideous Laughter, at least for one turn, if you hit it for one turn, it's more incapacitating than failing Charm Person over again. And then for the feats, take these two down and see where we are. So he's got a dex of 17, which means you can use 1 to up that to 18. And then the wisdom is at 13. So if we up that again, that'll give us now +2 on ability checks for landing our wisdom-based spells that are over here. Oh. Okay, so that pretty much finishes up Astarion. Now we're going to remove him from the party.
Something? Oh, darling, I'm hurt. It sounds awful.
And we're going to pick Gale. Go.
Go ahead. I'm listening. With pleasure.
Okay. So now we're back into the party that we're going to use. We're still back in camp though. So the way you get around that is just to click and take a long rest here. And it skips over everything, takes you right back to the Blighted Village. So, want to make sure our group is fully prepped here. I'm going to cast Find Familiar, get my Raven. Okay. And we are going to head into this area first. Now there's, again, two ways that we talked about getting in here. You have the calcified web here, and you have a shabby wooden door lockpick. So let's kind of just try the lockpick first. See how this goes. Okay, not a big DC. We've got a +4 from dexterity. We can add on a guidance cantrip. So we could only fail that with a natural 1 at that point. So okay, so now we can head inside. And we're inside this basement area here. Like it's got a forge over here and various things like this. So let's just go ahead and start knocking out some of our exploration. Thieves' tools, always good. They're high priced that you can sell later on. Gold. Nothing in here. It looks like there's a book. Nothing in the burlap sacks. Candle. Some bottles. There are some large bottles that you could pick up if you want in here. Bottles, don't need those. More thieves' tools. Even more. Look, we have a trap disarm kit here. Insert some bottle racks. Okay. Now we can head down. Again, taking it slow. No need to go fast through new unexplored areas here. A war pick. Like there's an anvil down here. And some more crates. There's another shovel. You need a replacement for yours. Nothing that we need there. Nice bunch of thieves' tools. Okay. Now you can see we've got what looks like a way to go up there, but we also have another room over here. So let's go explore this other room. This is where you would land if you came down through the calcified web. So if you broke that web and then jumped down through it, you would end up in this room to begin with, instead of that first room where we started. So nothing special about it, just two ways to get to the same different area. Okay, so holding Alt, like we got another book over here. Can search for more books. Nothing up here, but you can sell these things. Nothing extraordinarily expensive, but you know, you can get some money from them. Sure, there's none of those 100 gold plates sitting around. Don't expect it in a dingy basement like this. So a great club and a maul. Few into weapons that I'm not interested in using. Okay.
Take heed. I see a trap.
So something happened there in the background that you saw. My ranger failed a perception check, but Lizelle did not. So she was able to find out that the chest is trapped. So we now can try and disarm this chest. And really, when you're disarming, what you should do is just move everybody back away from it. I'm just lazy that way. And we'll see kind of where we get here. It's only a DC of 10, but can still fail it. Okay, so now it's disarmed. And we have the blueprints. Now this is what was mentioned earlier upstairs. A set of blueprints that has some weapons on it that's part of the journal entry. So if you go and read these, you see you have a great sword, a sickle, and a dagger, and susser bark is what you need to make the weapons.
Weapon blueprints that use Sousa bark. Huh. Rare find. There's only one place I'm finding a Sousa tree. The Underdark.
Okay. So this updates the Finish the Masterwork weapon quest. You jump into our journal. We've got some things to kind of clear out here. So we did finish she told us that she wasn't able to help. We haven't gotten to the Goblin Camp yet. We haven't gotten to Auntie Ethel yet. We haven't rescued Druid Halson, and we haven't found the crest yet. But those are things that are up to be done. Saving the refugees, we did investigate Kaga's chest and found there was a note there. It talked about a meeting in the swamp. We haven't, again, been to the Goblin Camp, and we haven't saved the Druid. Find the Night Song, we picked up, one of the adventurers let us know about it, and it said it's in the Goblin Camp. We just haven't been there yet. Rescue the Gnome, we did pull him down off of his windmill, and completed that one. Saza's still a prisoner in the Grove. We don't have a plan to let her out, but we can. I'm just not going to follow that portion of the quest line. We could steal the Sacred Idol. I'm just, again, not going to follow that. Here's Finish the Masterwork weapon. So we found the blueprints, and we know that there's Sosa trees are in the Underdark. We are searching the cellar right now. This is going to be completing more as we go on. Free Lizelle we finished. Investigate the beach and save Arabella we did. Daughter of Darkness. Basically all the stuff that we've learned so far about Shadowheart, about Wyll, about Zell, about Astarion, and Gale. So nothing really special in there. But we are on Find the Masterwork weapon in this particular location of the Underground. So I'm going to toggle the group, and I'm going to head up here. And looks like this wooden chest is locked. So a DC 15. So higher to get, but we also have a bunch of thieves' tools here. Came up one short. So you could use inspiration to roll again, but we have so many thieves' tools. I'm just going to try again. Okay, and we have a steel forged sword. Basically just a short sword +1. So if you look at where we're at, the scimitar is 5 to 10. This is 6 to 11. It's just a straight upgrade over where we were. So we can take this, add this to Lizelle. Now we've got 2 +1 weapons sitting in our melee slots if we need to use it. I went to search it, but you can pick it up. It's basically a red barrel, the quintessential red barrel type of thing. No reason to light those up, I just did. Okay, and I believe I've searched all these right, yeah. Okay, so now we get into the forge area over here.
Look at that.
Found an investigation check was successful. We got a cracked wall here. It looks like that leads into another area. Holding the alt key here. A couple of torches, but that's it. Can use the bellows. So we do have a club here. A spear. Even more thieves' tools. There's a short sword here. Another short sword over here.
Useful.
And another bottle rack. Yeah, And there is some more rope up here on the top if you need it. Gonna move to... Now it's important to remember in Highcliff's blueprints you have a greatsword, a sickle, and a dagger. And, whoops. And it says the Susterbark can only be applied to an ordinary unmodified blade. So, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But for now, we do have a cracked wall here. So, we can attack it. Okay. And now we have open access to get into this area. I'm instead going to go back into this room here and take this way. See where we get here. So, going to jump up here. Wait for everybody to join. Okay. And now I'm going to go into sneak mode here. Start taking my time, because now we're obviously getting into the Whispering Depths. And I want to be on the lookout for enemy detection cones. So you see that we have a well bucket down here. This is one of the other ways to get into the Whispering Depths. I think there's three discrete ways and 4 total. 2 of them are here. You can either come in through the high ground here, or you can come in through this area through that broken wall that we just did. So that's 2, but it's really from the same area. Then you have the well, which is up in the Blighted Village. If you click on the well up there, it'll bring you right down to this location. So, multiple ways to get into here. I tend to keep the high ground because if you're on...
Better be careful. Those webs carry vibrations.
Okay, and those webs they're talking about are these. These are basically bridges made out of spider webs. But you can see that there's a couple of things. 1, your movement speed goes down. 2, if you step on them, you may become enwebbed, just like the web spell. So if you're in combat, that can cause some issues if you're trying to move around to different locations and you get caught in a web. We're going to mitigate that in a certain way as we go through a little bit of this, but the other thing about these is that they're flammable. So if you cast a fire spell, or in Lae'zel's case, if she uses her flaming two-handed sword, you can catch those on fire and they can burn away, and anything standing on them can take fall damage. Or if you're above an abyss, they can just fall out of the map. So you have to be careful with what enemies are sitting on them, or if you're sitting on them. I can't just have Lae'zel run out here in the middle and attack someone, because it's going to burn the web away and they're going to take fall damage, or potentially fall out of the map and die. So you have to be very careful, since they are flammable, in managing your surroundings here. If you noticed, you did see a detection cone that briefly popped up down here. So we're going to kind of head down this way. And the other thing that was mentioned in that dialogue, it's not mentioned in the tooltip for it, is that they said they carry vibrations. And you'll kind of see what that means here in a second. Now that we get in here, you can see we've got some detection cones. We have an Ettercap down here that's infested. We have a phase spider down here as well. And it looks like, yeah, we have another Ettercap over here. Yeah, there it is. You can kind of see how they're patrolling around this area. But you can see how big it is and how much verticality it has. So it's a very, very interesting area to explore. And that's why I choose to come in here, because I'm on the high ground over all of these things. So let's go ahead and toggle our group mode, and we'll get this set up to start an engagement. In doing this, what I'm probably going to do is keep everybody back a little bit here and initiate combat with the ranger and see what we trigger. Okay. So we can hit the phase spider from here. We can hit the ettercap from here without moving. So let's just go ahead and attack the ettercap. We managed to kill it without breaking stealth. And by the time we got seen, we now have a phase spider that's way over there. Yeah, that's way over here. We have a phase spider here, the one that we saw, and we have this other ettercap, which is over here in this cave. Now, phase spiders are called phase spiders because of how they move, and you're going to quickly see what that is, as it's going to want to close the distance to us here. So we don't want to do a ranged attack yet. We do want to provide or hit it with Hunter's Mark. Okay, and now we can make the attack. We do have a disadvantage because it's outside of normal range, but we do still have an 81% chance to hit because of high ground and archery. So let's go ahead and take that chance to hit here. And that would be typical. Hit a critical miss. So I think what I'm going to do is just move back a little bit. My Raven is not in combat at this time. It's still hidden. So I think what we're going to do here is see if it can fly over to here. It can. See if we can move around behind the ettercap here and blind it. Okay. So now the Raven entered combat. Nobody else is in combat yet. So I think what we're going to do, move Lazelle up here to be one of the primary targets, and see if we can get off a range attack here. Again, disadvantage. And a miss. Okay. So let's leave the other two out of combat for now because the targets are quite far away. So let's just head back to
Can't stay idle.
Ravalin here and end the turn. The one phase spider didn't move. One did. The ettercap, even though it was blinded, did manage to hit. Pick out my Raven. So you saw how the phase spider covered a lot of distance there in one turn, and it's able to move up and down. It just phases from one location to another. So very dangerous enemies to have to deal with. So we're definitely going to get everybody involved here at this point. The ettercap is going to have to move down and climb up and try and get over to us the normal way, so we want to concentrate on the phase spider. So we're just going to make a regular attack here. Okay. The second phase spider over there is going to be the next one to move. Lazelle's going to have a chance to hit before this phase spider does, but again, the phase spider's sitting on this bridge. We can't have Lazelle run in there with her sword and make that attack, so think what we're going to try and do here is get some additional damage onto the phase spider. Okay, good. Another big hit there. Phase spider's down to 2. So now Gale, see if he can just get the final hit here. Perfect. Okay, so 1 down. One that appears to be staying out of the battle because it's too far away, and 1 at her cap.
Time to push my luck again.
Yep, see, it's not moving. So it's staying out of the way. So let's get Lazelle up here
On the move.
into a spot. She can make a ranged attack here. Okay. Again, we're not trying to push this very far because the other cap is going to move toward us. So it cast web down here. Lazelle got her saving throw. So we're going to reapply Hunter's Mark. The other cap is down some hit points, so our Colossus Slayer ability is going to kick in here as well with a 90% chance to hit. So another big hit. Phase Spider's not doing anything. Gale is here. We'll move Gale up just to see if we can get some additional damage in. No. Okay, Lazelle here. Good, got another 3 points. The other cap's down to 8. And it didn't move. So we're going to move Shadowheart up, and we're just going to keep applying range damage here as much as we possibly can. I don't think we're going to need much. I think it's probably going to end after this one. Yep. Okay, and now we just have the phase spider left. So let's let it use its turn, and it didn't move during its turn. So it's probably... it's right there. So it might move up to here or something as soon as it can see us. So let's kind of move Gale. See, he's going to walk through the web. So the web is going to last for 1 more turn, but either way, we'll just try and move through it. He passed his saving throw, so that's good. We're going to end his movement.
Time to strike.
The web is now gone, so we're going to choose to move Lazelle over to this spot. See if she can make it. Did pass her saving throw. Okay. Going to move Shadowheart up just to this location. And we're going to move our ranger up here. Now we'll see if the phase spider chooses to move or not. It did. So that's good. Only a 25% chance to hit with that from where he's at, and I think he's probably outside of range. Yes. Probably outside of range, so his real only option here to try and do... I don't think even moving to here is going to get him close. So let's just try and take a long shot. Perfect. That's good. Because now that it's lost some hit points, Colossus Slayer is going to kick in here. So... okay, so it is on a piece of rock. So if we can make it over there, we can cause some damage. I just don't know as if we're going to make it over there. So we could actually try. Let's just move up to here. We can try this. See if she can make it across there. by using dash. And see if she makes it through. Nope, she became enwebbed. And you see it also let out a pattern of red around it. It creates a noise when you step on it, which alerts enemies around it. Right now we've only got one that was in range to hear it, but you have to be careful when walking across them because it can alert other enemies to your presence that you might not want them to know. Okay, so now we're just going to get in. So it's just barely outside of range here. Yep, nothing we can do to get close, and Guiding Bolt's probably... Oh, it is going to be able to hit. So, Guiding Bolt can work here. Okay, let's see if we can get this off. Of course not. Where would my luck be? So we're going to reapply Hunter's Mark. Don't think we can't kill it unless we get a critical hit. Oh, wow. Okay, we just rolled really, really well. So, well done. That cleaned out the first encounter here. So we're going to bring Lozelle back. Okay, she's enwebbed again. Every time you try and cross one of these, you have a chance to become enwebbed, but since we're not in turn-based combat, it's just going to wear off after one turn. So, okay. And I'm going to cast my Raven again. Ravens are flying, so they're not going to be caught in webs. And we can search the face spider, nothing, and carry everybody across over to here.
Can carry me.
Everybody got enwebbed. Nothing on the face spider. We're gonna head over into this area over here. Oh, and the poison surface was there. I just walked through it. So there are these spider silk cocoons everywhere. You can search them. There are skeletons, things like that sitting around in here. You can also search. There's an old backpack sitting up here. Right now you can hide. You don't see any other detection cones around you. It's probably safe to just explore this area a little bit. See, we will go down here. It always lead me this direction. Go ahead and go this way. Do some exploring down here. So there is a pack down here. Okay, this is an interesting piece that you need to kind of read through that will give you more information on something that's coming up later on. This is an apprentice. And he was serving the Zolkirs. He left because his master did. And some Dark Justicars got his master before the Zolkirs did. So the Zolkirs were trying to kill his master. He'll return the Tome of Necromancy he stole. They'll know I'm loyal. The key gem secure in the tunnels. Once I have it, I'll slip into the cellar, take what I can carry, and then home. So it mentions that there's a tome of necromancy and that the key gem is secure in the tunnels somewhere. So very important information going through this. So some of these that you find, these books you find in special areas, be sure to read them, because they can possibly give you a heads up about how to deal with future encounters and things like that. So the spurred band we're going to pick up here. Look at it. This is momentum. We know what it does. It gives you 3 extra meters movement speed. The spurred band, if you're wearing it, if you're already hurt at the start of your turn, you get extra movement speed. So sounds like something that's good for anybody who, once you get hurt, you want to get out of combat or get away from other people. So maybe your, Gale or somebody like that can use it. Let's go look at some of my other characters here. See what we have. Lazelle's not wearing any rings. Gale's wearing the ring of color spray. So I think we're going to put this on Lazelle, just so if she starts, she can get closer to enemies or farther away from enemies as the need be, as she goes. And I'm actually going to swap. No, I won't, because this helmet is what gives her the momentum at the start. It would look better on her, but yeah, it's not practically better. So holding Alt again, we have a cocoon we can search. So got some boots. And a necklace. Rusted blade. And there's another.
May the darkness protect you.
Okay. Want to search the skeleton here. Okay, holding Alt, we have another backpack over here to look at. Another potion of greater healing. We're going to give that to Lazelle. I think he doesn't have one, because I've already got one here. Yeah, Lazelle does not have one. And we have a pile of bones. Nothing. Another cocoon with a leather helmet. I think everybody's wearing. Gale is not, but he can't. That's light armor. Gale's not proficient with it. If you ever need to find out what your proficiencies are, you can head to your character sheet. This is the proficiencies down here. So he's got no armor he's proficient with. He's only proficient with daggers, light crossbows, and quarterstaffs, and no martial weapons. So light crossbows for him is what he needs to use for a ranged weapon. He's not proficient with short bow that he already has. So at some point we'll change this and put it over here onto this side. But right now he doesn't get that proficiency unlocked because he's not proficient with it. But yeah, if you do need to find out what your proficiencies are, you can head to this screen. Ranger, because of their class bonuses, they're proficient in all weapons, basically. Only light and medium, not heavy armor, whereas heavy armor is fighter classes. So looking through the rest of this, there's another cocoon up here. Can't reach it, but you can attack it. Falls down and nothing dropped out of it, so head over this way. Search, we've got some more cocoons down here. Gloves. Club. Again, nothing. Oh, there's a scroll of shocking grasp down here. That's why it's so important to use the Alt key, because there's just so much that's hidden around that you just can miss throughout this game. Okay, and that dropped a torch out of it. Okay, so there's an old backpack over here. Gold. Okay. Ah, we have some spider silk cocoons up here. Drop anything? That dropped an antitoxin. Oh, it did drop a malachite.
I'll take that. Very well.
Okay. Drop the bone on the ground. Yep. So here, you have a greatsword. Shield. Going to encumber me, so going to want to now clear out my inventory of these things. I don't know where I got the bottle from. Put all these over on Bell. The books, we'll get Gale. Malachite, we'll get Gale. Shocking Grasp. Doesn't really matter where this goes. I don't think I'm going to get much use out of it. Nothing there. Yeah, the rest of it. Well, I could put. He's going to end up selling here. And I keep forgetting about him. I really need to be using my basic poisons more. They're just sitting there not being. It tends to happen with a few things. With me. Might as well give... There's no reason to give him some gloves. Well, actually, they don't do anything for you, but might as well. That's it. Just gonna move there. Okay. Now we have a skeleton we can search. Put this on Gale. Okay, and again, the well bucket will take you up to the Blighted Village. There is a waterfall here. You can't move any farther up that direction from here to get to anything. Now, if you move around this side over here, you can see there's some stuff going this way. Take a look here. Try and move somewhat slowly if we can move around what the camera's doing. Okay, so we've got a room up here. Some water. It's with some money. Don't need a torch. Okay, so there's a burnt journal over here. In her form, I find ecstasy. Spell is not enough. Thing. Got some more bottles, some other cups. Brazier here we can light. A very interesting table. Does have a cleaver on it. Some viscera we can search through. Another shovel. Doesn't look like there's anything very important here. Some more thieves' tools. Bottle racks to search through. There is a glass retort. It's worth 30 gold. Water. I'm going to have to clear out some of this other stuff when I get back. A big portion of this is the thieves' tools. Move these over here. See, they take up a lot of carry weight. But there are some things that I'm going to want to get rid of. Gonna move over here. Gonna leave her the acid. App is the same way. Gonna move these things up here. Because I don't need to be carrying those around if we're not going to use them. Sell them. I'm just a pack rat. Okay, these are just normal books, so probably don't need to read those. Handle, we've got a bloody journal here. Go read in that. Okay. So, learn that Lolth is the spider god. But someone's name used to be Eliette. And you learn about she wants to worship, she's a worshiper of Lolth. And seems like she's trying to find some way to become one with Lolth. And here looks like you're talking about this. Looking to transform her flesh into the Spider Queen's image. Arachnomancers, she's familiar with them. But today I found the House of Lolth and I shall be its matriarch. So she's looking really hard to become a servant of the Spider Queen. We have a heavy chest here, and we have some very important boots. We're going to go to Lizelle. Okay. And Lazelle's going to put these on immediately. Okay. You don't lose anything for the boots. The boots don't give you any bonuses. The Spiderstep boots are immune to being enwebbed. What this means is that she can now move around freely on all of these web bridges that are everywhere and get her where she needs to be without failing a saving throw and becoming a whip. It's very important to get your high damage dealer into a place where she can do it without having to worry about tripping herself up by getting infected. So that's why you want to come here before you go through many of the other encounters that we have coming up. So looks like the boots were actually given to her by Lolth's daughters. Her daughters is a term for spider minions. So it looks like the spiders killed somebody and took those boots off and gave them to her. And there was another gift, the corpse of a drow, an arachnomancer. And she killed it and carved it up. That's what's laying on the table over here. Okay, so Gale gained an inspiration for that. Now up to 3 out of 4. But there wasn't a journal entry or anything like that. That's just a way to view
anything of use?
inspirations. Nothing there. Wicker chest. Web is very good. So looks like a spider and a web, overlapping circles, transcendent. So she was really trying to become a spider. Basically what this is all saying. She was trying to transform herself into a spider to be closer to what the Spider Queen is. And we're done in here. Just going to remove these two things. Sorry. Okay. So again, because of those boots, very important to come this way first. And then you can go back to exploring things. So you can see most of the area we need to get to is over here. Whoops. We'll stay on the ground for now, because we want to explore a couple other low spots that were down around this area. Go search the Eder Cap. Okay, nothing there. Bay spider egg and some coons up here. The Gale. Okay. Dead goblin up here. And we're getting kind of into unexplored areas, so I'm going to trigger hide here.
What's inside?
Just so we can be a little bit more careful while we're moving around.
On my way.
Okay. More areas. Something down there. Interesting. So, we're gonna head back around this way. We've already been that way. So, looks like we can get down here. So maybe coming through this way and searching this other Eder Cap. So let's head back down this way. Search this area. Okay, gonna have to go outside.
Out of mind.
Didn't drop anything. Backpack down here. Great, another potion of greater healing. That auto heart. Here's the other Eder Cap down here with a dead goblin child. Putting on the Eder Cap. The bottle don't need. Holding Alt, looking around. We've already been this way. The wooden barrel, we've got some more cocoons here. Dropped a scroll of Goodberry. That dropped a bone, a leather helmet, and a club. So it looks like we can also attack this spider web here. Now we can go back into hiding. I'm gonna pick up this scroll. Pick up the leather helmet. Pick up the club. Search this barrel. Just rope. Thing that we need. Okay. Can move a few things out of our inventory here. Okay. So we're at a point where we can move down here farther. Do have... Can't see anything yet.
Breathe deep and move.
Oh. You've got another phase spider down here. Okay, interesting. So I think what we'll do is take everybody back here. This area. Then we'll split the group. And we'll bring our ranger back out here. And we'll trigger a fight on this phase spider. So we got a 90% chance to hit from right here. Is good. So we'll see what triggers here, if anything, just the phase spider. Health has been successful. Alright. Perfect. Don't need turns anymore because we killed it. Let's go hide again. So we killed it. Nothing else down here. Oh, there are some phase spider eggs down here as well. Okay. So we can kind of explore this a little bit. Let's try and move down here a little closer. Got an autosave. Kind of gives you a hint.
Have to keep going.
Another day, another fight.
Okay. Trust me when I say you want to do that. Okay. There's a reason that I was doing that. Oh, and there's one more. Back up here. And hide. Okay. Oh. Maybe saw it. There was a little hint of red here. So we do have more enemies somewhere in this area that we'll have to deal with. So let's go ahead and climb back up here with the rest of the party. But yes, the spider or the phase spider eggs you want to get rid of when you see them. So this one here is just a spider egg. That's not a big deal.
Everything.
But the phase spider eggs, you do want to get rid of. You see them. So let's go ahead and take the high ground again. Okay, and we're going to prepare to move into this area here. Now, this is the same area we were just looking at. And you can see it looks like we have some more phase spider eggs here. And here. Well, we've got some eggs. We can't tell what kind they are, but we've got more here as well. And that glowing object is still down here. So let's move ourselves a bit farther into this area. See if we can open up anything in here. Taking it slow, no need to go very fast here. And you can see that these are phase spider eggs. Okay. Holding Alt, nothing to loot or explore here. We're gonna split the group. Move up here with our ranger. Oh. Now see that we have another phase spider down here. On patrol, it looks like. And looky there. Phase spider matriarch. So, you read the journal entries. He was attempting to become the matriarch, and it looks like she succeeded. So the elf worshipper of Loth has managed to turn herself into a phase spider matriarch. Very, very dangerous enemy. First, a lot of hit points. 125. That's 4 times anything that we have. But also because of the abilities that the phase spider matriarch has that make her so very dangerous. So let's move our ranger back here. Keep an eye on what's happening over there, and we're gonna move her kind of to this point here and see if we can make see if we can make ranged attacks against the Fate. We can without moving. Okay? So we're going to keep an eye on it. We want to make sure we don't cross onto that web. Okay? So we want to make an attack. Okay? It didn't trigger any response from her. So it looks like we're going to be safe making further attacks here, and you just want to make sure that you're not moving onto that web while you do this. Okay, and again, you could right click on these and click ranged attack, but that doesn't tell you if you're going to have to move to make the attack or not. So I'm kind of doing these manually, so to speak, to guarantee that I'm not going to have to move. Okay, so see, to attack this one, I'm going to have to move. So, move myself up. Let's go back into hiding. Again, keep an eye on her up there. See if I can make the attack without moving. I can. And it didn't trigger a response. Okay, so all those eggs are now dead.
I don't need any.
We're gonna go back into hiding. Okay. So looks like we have a phase spider matriarch and a regular phase spider to deal with. Sure. So let's kind of set people up to be able to engage here. So ranged attack, the target's too far. We're sitting right now to be able to engage. But trust me when I say that being a phase spider, she's going to move into a location to engage us as quickly as she can. Once she gets that opportunity, she's going to take it. The other thing about spiders is that spiders have multiple eyes, right? They've got 8 eyes here. So the blind feature of my raven is not going to work, because spiders are immune to being blinded. So my raven is going to be of limited utility, but can be a distraction and that sort of stuff, and can also cause some damage with regular attacks. So we want to keep that in mind as we're going through positioning our characters here. But first, we want to get people into logical positions. What we ideally want is for a spider to move into this area here so that Lae'zel can make attacks with her greatsword without destroying a bridge or causing any problems with that. But to do that, we have to make Lae'zel be the visible target here. So she's going to be the one that triggers things off, and we're going to leave a good area around her. The other thing is that spiders obviously cast poison, and it causes a poison surface on the ground, so you don't want characters grouped up together for the most part. You want them separated out so that that poison surface isn't going to get multiple people. Now again, what you can see when we're hidden here is that we are heavily obscured. Okay, that means we're in the dark. Gervalin is lightly obscured because there's some light here at this location. And Lae'zel is heavily obscured. The phase spider is probably lightly obscured right now because there's some light near its location, but this phase spider is probably heavily obscured. So we want to try and possibly take advantage of some spells like dancing light cantrips and things like that to light up certain areas that might have, or that are going to have enemies in them, to improve our chances to hit while we're doing it. So don't forget about doing things like that when we go through this encounter. So okay, so we're going to have, as I said, Lae'zel kick this off, because as soon as you attack somebody, you're going to trigger the encounter. So we don't want Lae'zel to move too far forward. Good. Now she's going to be able to take this attack from here. Okay. All right.
Oh, hells.
So we triggered the encounter. She has another attack upcoming here, and then the phase spider down here, and then the matriarch, and nobody else is in combat yet. So we want to preserve our options for who is in combat and is not in combat for as long as possible. So menacing attack is, we've got a 50% chance to hit here, and we're at disadvantage because the target's outside normal range. We've got 4 superiority die to spend here, so it's probably not a bad idea to try a ranged menacing attack here, even with a 50-50 chance to hit. Okay, it did a lot of damage, which is what we wanted. That phase spider is going to attack next, and trying to think if I want to use my, I don't think I want to. I think I want to save my action search for now. And that's 4 points. I think what we're going to do is take our raven down there and see if we can use our raven as a distraction. Possibly get some damage on the phase spider, but really just use it as a distraction. We don't want this phase spider engaging us. Okay. So now hopefully that phase spider is going to attack my raven and not move up here. We want the
Fury. I am death.
phase spider matriarch to move over here. I don't think she's going to. I think I know what she's going to do, but we want to give her the option to move if she can. Okay, so I think I'm going to end the turn and let's see what the phase spider down below does. Okay. All right. This is why you want to destroy the phase spider eggs as soon as you can, because she will turn them into phase spiderlings, which can phase around just like anything else, and move around the map. So now you have a bunch more enemies to kill, in addition to the phase spider and the matriarch. Okay, so the phase spider did move up here. That target is too far to reach from where she's at. Okay, so you can move all the way up there to take a 36% chance to hit. It doesn't make any sense to do it. You could get in range to hit some of the spiderlings here, but again, not really worth it. So let's wait and see what the spiderlings do. And let's move her right up here to the front. Not going to be able to make a ranged attack, but she is going to serve as that distraction. And she can make a ranged attack against one of the spiders. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay. So now we got a phase spiderling coming around this way. Now let's see what the frightened phase spider here does. Okay, so the matriarch did move, and you can see it causes a lot of damage. But it moved into a position where I can't get Lae'zel out there to hit it, because it's on that bridge. That's not going to work. It needs to move to get closer onto a surface like this for Lae'zel to work. It did, however, move my ranger into combat. Okay, so I do want to reapply Hunter's Mark here. And now what I want to think about is, remember, I get extra damage as long as some hit points are missing from the matriarch. So what I want to kind of do here is probably either take out the phase spider, I think we're going to take out the phase spider here. Actually, let's bring Shadowheart into the mix here and get off a shot with the bow. Need 6. Bow's still the best option to do that. Okay, got 4. Not enough. And I think what we're going to do is now get Gale into the fight here. So Dang it. It didn't render the vision cone. Oh, that's horrible. Horrible. Okay. Well, we need to get a kill on the face spider here. Okay. That's good. Now let's see where the spiderlings move to. Okay, so 2 more of them moved up. It's Lae'zel's turn. We're going to want to do a couple of things here. We are going to want to use Second Wind here to get her some hit points back because the Matriarch is next. We will want to take a hit here on the Spiderling. Get her killed. And now, I actually want to move Lae'zel back here. So that hopefully the Matriarch moves up. Okay. Hopefully the Matriarch will move into here or something like that. Okay. Maybe I can get close enough here. So we need to get Lae'zel healed up. That's priority number 1. So we're going to cast Cure Wounds at level 2. Gonna move up here. That wasn't a very good Cure Wounds. Okay, if she moves, she's going to provoke an attack of opportunity there. And we are going to... I don't... see if... Okay. So now if Lae'zel goes down, she's going to pop back up with a bunch of hit points. Now Gale, we can use Gale to do a couple of things. The first thing that we want to do is get down a cloud of daggers here. We want to cause the Spider Matriarch to move. And cause some damage at the same time. Okay, so Reflective Shell is what these... oh, I'm sorry, I'm kind of skipping past some of these. These powers here, everybody got one.
Victory awaits.
As we went through this. These are the powers that were given to us by the Tadpole that was mentioned at the last long rest. Everybody's powers are going to be slightly different in what they can and can't do. So
I don't fancy their chances.
Gale now has a reflective shell action, and it says projectiles. I'm not entirely sure if that means things like that venom spit, or if it just means physical projection or projectiles like arrows. There's no reason not to cast it right now. Because if it does choose to spit at Gale, you know, might as well have that opportunity there. So, got a couple of options here to get rid of some phase spiders. So this one's got 2 hit points left, so I think we... should be causing more damage to the Matriarch, but these phase spiders are going to be a problem. So I think what we do is take them out. So we do one here, kill it. Then we move over here with an offhand attack and kill that one. Okay, and then end the turn. We'll have the two fighters or spiderlings down here that are going to move up. Okay. Now Lae'zel's going to get her opportunity here to attack back on one of them. And she's going to definitely use a healing potion here at the end of this. Okay, so I need to save her bonus action instead of using a pommel strike for 4 damage, which wouldn't kill that other spiderling anyway. She's going to use a potion of greater healing. Okay, good. 15. That was what we needed. Now I'm going to get her into a spot that isn't going to trigger. Now if she moves again, it's going to trigger it, but she's fine where she is. And I don't need the I want to save that the action surge. So if the Matriarch moves, then she can get off 2 big hits with her sword. That's what the plan is for that. Okay. That's what happens when you have characters too close to each other. I was hoping it wouldn't happen, but there was no guarantee that it wasn't going to happen. So broke the concentration on that as well. Oh. I am going to want to heal Gale. Shouldn't have moved there. We'll cast this one.
Take you
on Gale. Some damage. Spider. Oh, good. Killed it. Okay. So now it's just the Matriarch that we have left to deal with. Okay. So in turn now, Gale. See, there's disadvantage because the target is obscured. So let's cast light, dancing lights over here.
Sol Invictus.
Okay, so see, it's no longer obscured. Right. Now let's move Gale back out of the way. Now let's start causing some damage here on her. So Ensnaring Strike is not going to work because it has multiple legs. But we do have Piercing Shot at a 70% chance. Good. Big hit, and it failed its saving throw, so it's going to be taking ongoing damage for the next 2 turns. Okay, and bonus actions that are available to me. Nothing that I can use right now in this turn. Now here, I don't think it's close enough. I could get all the way up here Yeah, see? He's still standing on the web there to get that attack off. Maybe. Yeah, she is standing on it. Question would be when it disappears, what happens to her? So I'm not going to move her up from here. But I am going to try a menacing attack ranged with her. Got a 50-50 chance to hit. Of course. Now let's see what the Matriarch does. We want her to... Can she move? Can move back a little bit. Okay. Let's give some healing there. Okay. And end the turn. Okay. Gale's down. Kind of expected that. I'm going to have to move in and take care of this, so we're gonna have to get Gale up.
Take cure.
Okay. Then I can move her out of the way a little bit. Take a healing potion.
Gone with the weave.
Gale needs to get some healing, and he needs to move away. Let's see if he can move over here.
Mistra.
Take a healing potion. Okay.
I won't give in.
Now, let's get some more hits in here. 50% chance. It broke his concentration on dancing lights, so the target's obscured again. Okay, but another big hit. 3 sets of damage there, which is good. That's what we wanted. And I'm going to have to move Lae'zel up here. I don't have a choice. I need to get her in a position to be able to attack here. There's just no other way around it. I need to get her up. So we're going to move her up. Take this attack. Perfect. Exactly what I needed to see, right? Okay. See if we can make a pommel strike. Good. Daze the spider. That's good. Let's make an action surge. Let's do a menacing attack here. Okay, good. Right. It's dazed, it's frightened. Got gaping wounds for one more turn, but it's now in a position that things are going to get very, very dangerous, and Lae'zel could very well die here. We will see what happens. Once the Phase Spider Matriarch gets down to a low number of hit points, it becomes enraged, and it gets 2 attacks per turn. So we'll see what happens here as we go. Okay, so got off 19. And see, if she'd have hit with that second time, it would have knocked Lizelle down, possibly killed her. Okay, that's how dangerous the Phase Spider Matriarch gets when it gets low on hit points. Okay, so we're gonna take a chance.
Take your.
Okay, that's not gonna do much. But let's try and get Guiding Bolt with 64% chance to hit. Good. Down to 24. Exactly what we needed to see. So now Gale going to move out here. He's going to cast a level 2 magic missile and cast all 4 projectiles at it. Guaranteed damage to hit. Now he's going to... Still obscured? Yes. He's going to move back to cover. Okay. So now, 90% chance to hit. It has been illuminated by Guiding Bolt. That's what the Guiding Bolt for 2 turns up there says. Outstanding. Okay. Alright, so you can see... you can see, how difficult this encounter can be. That is one of the most difficult encounters that you're going to find in the game.
It's been a long day. I need to rest soon.
Okay, we're going to send this to Gale. Back, we're going to move everybody back here. Group everybody. Okay, we're going to take a short rest. Get hit points back. And we're going to explore this area up here. So nothing over here. Phase spiders don't ever have anything on them. You can search them all you want, but it's just bones if they have anything at all. Okay. Nothing up here. Can pick up some of the phase spider egg carcasses or clutches, so to speak. So let's go ahead and move down here. And you can see that there's a waypoint. And nothing else down here, just the waypoint. Okay. But an easy way to get out of this area and get back up to the top, because the Blighted Village waypoint is right up there at the top. So, a big bunch of poison down here.
There's something ominous about such depths. I wonder how deep it goes.
Well,
after
you.
Always fun. Just bones on all of these. Ah, longbow. We're going to look at our inventory here in a minute, but walking through poison. Over here. And we're going to pick up this dark amethyst. Okay. appear to be anything else, just a skeleton here. Okay. And this is what I mean by some of these voids that go out to nowhere. If I had Eldritch Blast with the shove on it, I've actually done it by mistake in previous playthroughs. I've shot the Matriarch right off the edge into that void, and you can't loot it. It's just gone forever. And you would miss out on the Poisoner's Robe, which we're going to look at here in a second.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Okay, so now we've explored everything down here. So let's take a quick look at our inventory. And the first is the Poisoner's Robe. When the wearer casts a spell that deals poison damage, it deals an additional 1d4. So whenever he casts something with poison, it's going to give 1d4. I think it's actually bugged right now, because I think it even adds that additional 1d4 onto some other things. We'll take a look at, we'll keep an eye on it as we go here, and see if it's applying that where it probably shouldn't. But we'll keep an eye on it as we go. And then we picked up the Dark Amethyst. The Dark Amethyst is a quest item. It's got this orangish outline around it, and we'll need that here coming up. So the next thing I'm going to do is put the longbow on here. It's the same amount of damage as the light crossbow. And I'm going to take the light crossbow and I'm going to move it here. So now Gale, who's proficient with it, gains the piercing shot proficiency action. So this allows him to do some more damage with that if we ever get into a position, where he needs to do it. It's not uncommon that he does, so we're going to give that to him to be able to keep. Because you looked earlier at his weapon proficiencies: daggers, light crossbows, and quarterstaffs. He's not proficient with short bows. So short bows are proficient here, short bows are proficient here, so they can get the most out of their short bows. He needs to have the light crossbow to be. Alright, so let's head down here, and we will head out through this waypoint.
Better not be cursed.
And we're going to head back up to the Blighted Village. And we're going to head right into here. Got 30 minutes left or so in the stream. So we're going to head into here, into the basement of the Apothecary shop. Okay. Yeah, 30 minutes. We probably won't get through this, but we'll take a look and see what we have. So we want to split these. Lae'zel used one. Gale used one. Got a potion of fire resistance up there. There's some camp supplies, always good. Okay.
What's in here?
Got another potion of healing up here. Got some bottles, large bottles. More camp supplies. Okay. Got a desk here. Look like there's anything on it. And nothing in it. So now we'll head over here into this room. Like we got a potion of healing up there.
Like that'll fit in my pack.
Think I've ever found anything in bottle racks. But I'll keep searching them. Doesn't look like we have anything up here worth taking. Search some cases. Open crates. See what's on this shelf. Nothing. Base. Got some garlic. Belladonna, some weewas. Looks like we've got some camp supplies up here. We have another herb hanger here. Camp supplies. A wooden chest. Poison resistance, potion of speed. We'll sort out some of our potions as we go here. Kind of even some of those out. And we have a healer's log here. Doesn't look like there's anything really on here. That up. We'll be able to sell it later. Barrel, got some water. Oops. Okay, and bed linen. Nothing else up here. And we have this room over here. Okay, so we have a landscape. Worth a lot of money. A portrait. Worth a lot of money. Desk. The bookcase. Oh, an investigation check. Shadowheart can make it. Failed. No can make it. Did.
Scratch marks on the floor.
Okay. You don't have to make this check. It's pretty obvious just by using your camera to see that there's a hidden passage behind this bookcase. You just have to find how to open it. Okay. And if you look close on your camera, you can see that there's a lever behind that crate. Okay. Let's take the crate, move it out of the way, hit the lever. Oops, and I didn't search these. Okay. Now we can go through here to this back area. Got some more camp supplies. All right. Now here, a very interesting area. I'm going to split the group at this point. While we're here, might as well take care of some inventory items before we go in here. Moving some stuff on ale. Moving some stuff to camp like we need to. We don't need these things cluttering up our inventory. That gets it. Yep, there's 8 healing potions. I need another one over here. Whoops. Okay, so for some reason those aren't... Oh. Great. That was a misclick anyway. The reason it wouldn't stack was because it wasn't a healing potion. It was poison. And then I double-clicked on it. And poisoned myself. Oh boy, it's so stupid. Alright, so I'm gonna split these again. I'm going to one of them. Move it over to here. Oh, looks like Lizelle has 6, so doesn't need it. So I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna use one of these. Okay, I think that's enough now. Okay. Now, different weapons have different proficiencies. This, probably no, but let's go through it again. So the longbow, you can see a proficiency in the main hand. It has brace as a ranged class action for longbows. This is the other reason that you want your rangers to be using bows, is because you get this braced class action, whereas you don't get that with the light crossbow. So it just takes you a while to find a longbow. So, but if you mouse over this, if you start your turn, you use 6 meters of your movement speed, which for me is about half, I think, of my movement speed. And you basically anchor yourself in place. And for the rest of your turn, if you hit with your longbow, you roll 2 damage die, and whichever one is highest is what's used for the damage roll. So it's a very, very useful class ability to have for the rangers when they're using bows like this. So you want them to be using longbows if you can. It's just, like I said, takes a while to find one. Okay. So actually I'm going to group back up. I'm going to put everybody in hide mode again. Now I'm going to break the group. I don't need to be in hide for this, but I want them to be in hide for this. So moving into this room here, I'm not getting any detection cones. I'm getting an autosave. Okay. And you can see that I have a bunch of moldering caskets in this room. We're going to get to those here in a second. But let's go around and hold Alt here and pick up a bunch of the other things in here. Okay. Okay. Pickaxe. Not really worth very much as a weapon or as just something to sell. We're going to avoid it. Okay, so perception failed here.
I wonder if the gods are watching me.
I can't afford
So
to fail.
let's bring in
Best step softly.
Shadowheart to try a perception check. She failed it. Bring Gale in. While we're doing that, we'll send her back. See if Gale passes. Oh, great. Okay, Gale failed it.
I'm ready.
Shadowheart failed it. Last chance here. Okay.
Curious.
I was like, wow, we're actually gonna fail this. It's another dig site.
Out of mind.
So if you don't perceive these, then you can't dig up the chest. Then look around in here, another shovel. In case you do detect it, pick it up.
What path lies
Come around this way. Okay, and notice we're not interacting with any of the caskets. Okay. So in here we have some incense. We do have some more camp supplies. Okay. Now we're gonna go up here and take a look at some of these trunks and barrels. Just some bottles. And nothing else. Okay. So there are a couple of ways to go about this room now. For the first time users, the way is just you've probably already clicked on one of the caskets already. Anybody who's been here before has an option now, and that's really to click on the ornate mirror here and go through this cutscene. And again, you need to remember some of the things that we've read in some of these journals previously to get through this. And I'll explain what I mean as we show this here. Okay, so there's something going on here.
I do not know this name. If you are known to my master, step forward and declare yourself an ally.
Okay, so this mirror is basically asking me if I'm an ally of the mirror's master, who was the Necromancer, who we were looking, who we've been reading about, whose apprentice was found dead in the Spider Cavern. So you can just try and force your way through this, or you can try and convince it you're an ally.
True ally of Ilantoth may pass. What think you of the Zolkir known as Zastam?
You remember stories of Zastam, a powerful lich in Thay who made deals with dark gods.
Okay. So I passed an intelligence check there to learn that Zastam was a lich in Thay, but remember, the Necromancer fled Thay, the Zolkirs in Thay, and they were trying to kill him. So even if you didn't remember this, you would know that probably isn't a good idea to take Thay's side in this whole thing. And you read that in the books. So here we got some more information which changed this option to be something that bases upon this historical check or this intelligence check that we passed. So we'll go ahead and pick that.
You are no Zolkir, but are you wise? Tell me, why might one use balsam ointment?
Okay. Because we read the doctor's journal, in the apothecary shop, you know that you can use balsam to clean a wound. To clean a wound. As a ranger, I also have an extra option down here to know that I can use it to clean wounds. So either way, it's to clean out wounds. You learn that from the journal if you're not a ranger. Okay?
Acceptable. Finally. If you could see anything in me, what would it be?
Okay, now this last question goes to the heart of how the Necromancer views the world and what you've read in the books and in the journals. So he was never he never cared about ones that he loved. He fled Thay, left everything behind. Didn't care about any ones so that would be something that you probably wouldn't want to see. Enemies suffering, he wasn't trying to take revenge on them when he fled. He was trying to get away so he could pursue his own studies into becoming a more powerful necromancer. Okay, so it probably wasn't this. This seems more... He may have ended up wanting to do that at some point, but that's probably not what his main focus was. Ridding me of the worm in my head is going to keep me alive. And that's what he was really trying to do. He was fleeing Thay to keep alive, but at the same time try and become more famous and gather more power. So that's the correct answer here. Now, if you do that, spoiler alert, the mirror is going to open up and you're going to be allowed to go in. If you fail any of these questions, the mirror is going to retaliate against you. And it's going to retaliate against you in a very unique sort of way. And we can capitalize on that retaliation by using it to damage some other things in this room. So we want to intentionally fail this the first time. We can come back and get through it afterward, but we want to fail it the first time. Okay, so we're just going to pick one of these that's going to fail.
Weak. A poor choice. You will be purged.
Okay, and you immediately want to start moving away from the mirror. Okay, and you want to move all the way back up here into this area. And you'll see what's happening is it let out this flaming orb that is causing all these explosions. And you can see it's damaging a bunch of things. It doesn't come this far back, so we're safe. Okay, and then you can see it calmed down, and it's going to head back to the mirror. Okay? And it left all this fire behind it. So I'm going to get my raven back. Okay, my raven's going to go into hiding. And I'm going to go explore this a little bit. See if I can see what's happened. Okay? So you can see that it killed one of these, and these guys come out of the caskets. So when you click on a casket, it spawns these guardians. Okay? And the thing about them is that if you don't, their first priority is to go open up another casket. So they will ignore you and they will go toward another casket. So if you don't kill it in time, they will keep moving around spawning the other caskets. So if it opens this one up, then there are two. One of them will attack you while the other one goes to open up another casket. So they're not very hard enemies, especially at the level that we're at right now. So you can certainly do this the normal way, but this is just a creative way to help with this fight in a lot of ways. So it looks like it killed 3 of them right off the bat. And we have one casket here that is not opened. We'll deal with that here in a second. So from here, okay, so I can hit it, can move up and cast Hunter's Mark on it, and that's going to get me in combat. Actually, it didn't. Good. Now I can trigger this fight from stealth here. And I killed it one shot. Perfect. That's what you like to see. Like to see one shots.
Alright. Time to skulk about.
Okay, so this one over here is ranged. This one here is melee. This one only has 1 hit point left. So I can probably kill this one.
Hope your soul is in good hands.
Oh no. Okay. So hit. Let's try and reapply Hunter's Mark here. Big hit. Perfect. Okay, so managed to do all of that entirely on my own without anybody. Okay, now I'm going to click on this moldering casket here, and it's just a searchable one. It's not going to spawn anymore. So the first time you come in, that's the closest one. You click on it, you think, oh, I can just search these, and you go click on the others, and they all start spawning bad guys. So it can get rather interesting. So, okay. So now let's head back up here, and we'll group everybody up.
One day I'll catch a break.
And we'll search some of these enemies here.
Let's have a look.
And it's really just a bunch of... Oh, there was one more. I didn't even see it. Oh, okay. Only a 20% chance, and she did hit. Raven, let's just get him to fly up here. Fly again. If it can get a hit. Oh, come on. So horrible. Gosh. Get a little tired of these. Okay, done. Alright. So now we will loot. Arrow, another short bow. Okay, another longbow. We'll actually give that to Lae'zel to equip. Another longbow. Don't think I have anybody else who's going to be proficient. That clears everything out. Now you do want to search all this stuff because you can see it does destroy all of these crates and everything in here. So you do want to search all this before you trigger that section of it. So okay, so we'll put the longbow there. She doesn't have proficiency on longbows, I don't think. No. Short bows only, because longbows are a martial weapon. Right. So, that. This. 2 bows. Whoops. And we might save 1 or 2, because I honestly can't remember if Wyll and Astarion. I'll have to go look and see what their proficiencies are. Camp. Okay. And now we can go through this mirror for and we've already done this before. So see, if you fail the history check, you get a chance to say he's a fine Zolkir, but remember, he was running from the Zolkir. So, probably don't want to agree with them.
You are known, tell me. Why not one acceptable?
If you knew what the balsam was about.
What would
here.
It be? You seek to survive. You seek power. Be welcome.
Okay, and it opens up the mirror for us. Now we have access to...
well-guarded laboratory. What were they hiding down here?
To this laboratory down here. So, camp supplies. A skull here.
Moving in.
Another stuffed hyena head. Okay, some bottles. Various things strewn all over the floor. Nothing here to do anything with. Okay. So this little room, you can see that we're now back in this. We have access to this other area that we originally came in through. This lever right here. Okay. More camp supplies. Okay. And we've got some burlap sacks. Nothing. Barrel. Okay, we've got some really expensive gems here. Got some bottle racks to search. So these things holding alt. Something else here. Again, stuff that you might not see without using the alt key. To hold alt, you can pick up the rusted key. Okay, you're going to need that. Okay, and some final camp supplies. Okay, now we can head up into this little alcove here. Search a vase. There's a separatory funnel, which is kind of expensive. Skeleton. Then search the table. You have a crystal ball, which I expected to be worth more money than that. Must be a cheap one. Those camp supplies, cauldrons, things like that. Chest. Prayer of healing. Can actually use that. Gonna give everybody healing, but again, once we're finished with this, we're gonna probably end up taking a long rest anyway. Okay, so looking at this center area here, like we've got some research notes here on the table, right there. Okay, so it looks like he was obviously trying to do some reanimation of corpses. And the last one, it says, I have reached the limit of my skills and resources. The book offers help. Dare I accept? Okay. Don't really know what that means yet. The book. What book? Now we can head over here. We have a logbook here. Okay. Book's key gem has gone missing. Familiar ordered to watch my apprentice. Familiar reports apprentice disappeared near the well. Will observe. Okay. This kind of tells you what we learned down in the Whispering Depths, in that the apprentice stole the key gem and went down into the Whispering Depths using the well. And that's how the gem got down there. We have another book here. And looks like it's just stuff that we can pick up and sell. We have some basilisk oil. Turns petrified creatures back to their organic state. Interesting. Now we can go back over here to this side. Cauldron, bookshelves. Another book pick up here. Thing. The books. Holding alt here. Have an antitoxin up here. A round flask worth 30 gold. Now we have this little room here. Got some books to search. Cupboard, we can't search that. Wooden desk, nothing in it. Holding alt. There. Other desk. Nothing, got some books. Thing and a gilded chest. Okay, scroll of detect thoughts. Quite useful. Scroll of grease. Interesting. And a circlet of fire. Okay. So Gale's not wearing any headgear, so we can give him the circlet of fire. Basically, whenever he uses a fire spell that's not a cantrip, so his
Lovely day, this.
So his firebolt, you can see, is an evocation cantrip. So if he casts that, he's not going to get any bonus from it. But if he casts any other fire spell, which you can see he doesn't have any of right now, then he would gain some additional, or he'd gain a bonus action when he does that. So allow you, just like he needed to really badly there, he needed to be able to use multiple healing potions and things like that to do it. But the most important part of that is that he doesn't have any other fire spells here. He doesn't have any that are non-cantrip. So we may want to look at his spell book to look at what prepared spells he has available to him, and maybe it's time to get rid of something like Chromatic Orb or Witch Bolt or something like that, and focus on something else. So we're gonna go through this here in a second. Actually, we won't. We'll go through it since it's getting late. We're gonna go through that on the next stream once we take a break. For now, what we want to do is move up to here, and we want to save the game. The reason for it is we're going to go through this room here at the start of the next stream, and you can see that we have a book here. Okay, that's where we're going to pick up on the next stream and walk us through this room, and then go take care of our injuries and learn some new spells and sell off our inventory and that sort of stuff. So again, just want to say thanks to everybody. Again, I couldn't be doing this without your support. I certainly appreciate all the views that we get here, and all the people that stop by the stream to say hi. If you have any comments about what happened, please feel free to leave a comment or leave a question, and I can respond to it and expand on what we did or things that we didn't do that you wanted us to see done during the stream. But other than that, I will see you all next week. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.